This is a map, and you can see it's more of a simpler animation. It's pretty simple. Its stuff is still pretty good, but it's not meant to be realistic because it's a map. And this explosion, I think, is on Tokyo Bay, as far as I could see earlier. I hate how I have to go. Okay, here it is. Meltdown. Right here, it looks like Tokyo Bay. That's just me. It might not be, but as far as I could see on the map, that's what it looked like. Okay, so next we have right here. So you look at this, you just say, oh, they took some real footage of the tanks going through the road, which they actually did, but the tanks aren't on this road right here. The tanks are edited and they're pasted into here, as far as I could see. How I know this is that the tanks look a little off. They look a little bright at certain spots on the ground. This is animation, the helicopters, and the helicopters in the back, too. All animation. It's not a real thing back there. And how I was able to tell that these tanks were animation, look at this white. Smoke is from the exhaust from these tanks. And look at the line around here. The smoke stops right there. And I've actually seen it for other tanks back here. I don't want to have to keep going back and back. But it's right here. Right here. See how there's like a line underneath? It doesn't really fit in. I'm pretty sure that these are edited in. Look at that white line. And this. This is a picture back here, actually. This is not video. The only thing that is real is the right here, or somewhere around here, there's reflection of these animated helicopters. Right here. If you go back and look at that, you could see it. I'm not going to go back because it makes me go back 10 seconds. So we'll go on to the next scene. This right here, believe it or not, is animated in. Because as you can see, masers are not real. This is actually a picture back here. This is a picture. So is this. These are edited in. They're maser tanks. They're at different angles, matching the angles of these tanks. And so let me push play and show you what I'm talking about exactly. When the camera turns, this goes up. The whole thing right here, the whole thing, I wish I could show you my hand to explain exactly, but I only have this mouse. So this whole thing goes up. It goes up a little bit closer to this edge right here. You'll see that when the camera turns. Did you see it? If you did, and then this area goes down. So this is all edited in though. It's a really, really, really good green screen or whatever screen effect. But these are real tanks, so I'm pretty sure they're not green screened. It's just really good. I have no idea how they did that. I know how they did the 2000s ones. That's a lot more easy to explain. But this is just really good. Especially, and with the other one. This is more obviously edited because you can see how the thing turns, and it turns, and then the certain area goes forward to make it look like the camera's actually turning. Because if you just turn it, the camera, and then it's the same thing, it won't look like it's really there. But this actually does look like it's really there. and I think it's done pretty well. People always, when looking at this scene, they ignore this whole scene. These maser tanks are edited in. These tanks are edited in, and this is just a picture back here. The people, when they mention this scene, they only talk about, you know, the destroyers, the small destroyers when they're, let me go forward a little bit. When they're over here, they only mention the 2 scenes that these monsters are actually over here. The 2 short 5-second scenes. And then this scene is really good. This scene is really good. And then they're just like talking about that whole scene, the 2 scenes where they show the baby destroyers like this. So that's 1, 2, that's less than 5 seconds. These tanks are edited in. This stuff coming down from the sky is animation. And this background is a different picture than what was originally there. And you can see stuff is coming down right here too. So they're trying to keep it consistent. I guess it's to simulate this explosion. Right here it's not that good because the destroyers are swiveling back and forth. Thus making it look a little weird. Right here it looks really good. They have to puppeteer each and every one of them. I don't know why people say that Biollante is the best. The baby crabs, I'll get to it soon. But the baby crabs, the arms moving, that's a lot more complicated than Biollante just standing there with the arms. The arms not really even doing anything. People say Biollante is the most complicated whatever design or whatever. And I'd say no, it's not. The Destroyer crab monster is probably the most complicated one. Right here I also want to show the masers. The masers looking really good. Right here, the masers. See how good they look compared to the other ones? Wait, they're gonna show it again. Oh, okay, I guess not. So right here I want to take some time to look at what they're doing with the. Wait, let me wait till it. Right here. See how he shoots smoke and then it turns into his oxygen destroyer. This is the oxygen destroyer and then it turns into an actual little beam showing that it's getting more and more powerful as he charges it up. Like, see? They show it right here again. I think that's a really nice touch. And especially with how all these things look. So we have this scene. This scene looks really good. Not this. This scene looks really good, but this scene right here. This scene looks like he's actually there. And when he gets closer, he gets less and less the color of this background, which is also realistic. And this explosion looks like a real explosion. The shadow isn't that good, but that other scene was probably the most realistic scene in a live-action Godzilla film, I think. This scene is really good too. I think it's up there with being one of the most realistic ones. But it's not quite there. Right here is really good too. With his shadow going over the building as he goes over it, making it look like he's actually there. But when in fact he's only edited in the background. Like here he's edited in, and I think it would have been good if they actually tracked the motion of the camera going down well. But what they actually did was they made him go down a little bit with the camera. You could actually see that when I push play. If you didn't notice that, then that's good for you. But for me, I noticed that a little bit slightly. And it kind of draws my attention a little bit to it. So right here, alright, let me go back. That scene was so good, I didn't even really notice it. He's edited in the background, and with the explosions, actually lighting up the front, the you know the real buildings. They actually edited in so that it would light up those buildings too, which is a really good technique. Right here, when he flies over, his reflection is in the mirror, which is also a really good effect. And then his shadow goes over, which isn't so much a good effect. Right here is really... Wait, let me go back. Right here is really good too, especially since it lights up everything around here, and it's not just a thing in the background, which some people claim that thing is. Let's go to the next scenes. Right here is a really good scene. It's very well done, flawlessly. I don't even know how they would do that, but really good. The explosions light up the buildings around it, so it's not just a background thing. Right here, you can see it. Right there. I think very well done with that. It's a very good scene. Okay, so we have this scene right here. The destroyer grabs the Godzilla by the neck. It looks like the actor is actually in here for this one scene. They're actually grabbing the actor by the head in that one scene. Right here, this is edited in, probably about where the fin of this plane is. Down here, this looks like the real footage. They blended in very nicely. You can actually see some people going into one of the jets. If you look, see. And this looks pretty good too, with the plane moving and stuff. It not really looking choppy. Looking pretty decent. Pretty good. For a 2000s film. It's looking really good for a 90s film. So the scene I was talking about with the destroyer being a lot more complicated than Biollante is the baby crab ones. These are actually miniatures. The real crab destroyer suit is actually the same size as Godzilla or bigger. Or maybe a little smaller, but right here, the legs and arms have to move perfectly so they look like they're actually climbing on him. Right here, they have one in the front over here, they have one right here, and then in some other scenes, they have like 4 or something. It's just a really, really good scene. Wait, I went too far back. Right here, they have some in the front. They're either green screened in, very well green screened in, or they actually have like 6 of these things. Right here is one of my favorite scenes in this movie. Right here, when he's climbing on the Godzilla's back and shooting him with the smoke, the oxygen destroyer, thus draining his energy and returning him back to his original color, which was not red. See, he's not as red anymore with the, because of the energy. Okay, let's get this over with. Spent 40 minutes on this movie alone. Okay, so for this scene, I want to talk about this scene a little bit. I like how they add like the white flashing and stuff. These are real explosions, just in case you never knew that. They're actually exploding these giant explosions in the face of the actors. Probably the most devastating and dangerous Godzilla film to date. Definitely. For both the actors. They're not pulling any punches with these explosions. I think I heard they use like napalm or something. That's like crazy. That's the stuff they use in wars and stuff. The fire that never, it like lasts forever or something. It lasts a long time. A lot longer than regular explosions. Right here, they have, of course they have Godzilla's Tonk breath. Then when it hits Destroya, it has this animation around it. If you see it, it's animation around Destroya right here. And over here and over here. But it's only split second. To show that something is reacting and destroy his body or something. And I think it succeeded in doing that. These are the things lacking in like the 2000s Godzilla films. The sparks and like the explosions, and 2, the speed of the atomic breath, and 3, I think I wanted to go over this too. And 3, the effect Godzilla's atomic breath has on the monsters. This explosion is edited in. You can see a little bit of the black line around Godzilla, but it's really good. It's a really convincing explosion. It's not really So someone wanted me to go over Godzilla's death scene, and I'll gladly go over that with explain how they did the animation. I actually just recently figured it out. I was looking at it for like 30 times in a row. Right here, I believe that they actually melted the animatronic. Right here, this is CGI, which is actually surprising since I didn't think that they used a lot of that back then. But they did with the helicopters, so I'm guessing that's why they used it for this. I wish that these movies actually continued, because seeing how much... We'll get into that after I explain this. So right here, what they did was they have a scene of the smoke and the sparkles, and then they overlap it over this, and then they make it about halfway or a little less than halfway see-through. So you could see the smoke right here coming up. It's not totally clear. Right here, smoke. You see the smoke? That's because it's halfway clear. I did this in my music video for Godzilla. It's when the No Easy Way Out, when Burning Godzilla is remembering his son or something, and I show when Godzilla roars, and then it's halfway clear over when Godzilla Jr. falls. That's how this was done. Except they overlaid it on top of their animation, which is like kind of like a new thing, because usually they overlap animation over real, or animation over animation. It's not usually real stuff over animation. The stuff coming out of his chest animation, all this is animation. This is not any real practical effects. So with the stuff falling and melting, and then the stuff comes out right here, the gravity and stuff is really good. Spinning stuff coming down like that, that's really good. This is animation too right here, that one part, and the stuff going up in the air. So overall, really, really good. And I think that's it for this movie. I think it's right to have this movie last, since it's, the death of Godzilla. And I think that this film actually had some of the best Godzilla animations in a live-action film to date. I think it had some of them. I think some of the newer ones are better in some ways, but the 90s, I think, capture realism better than the 2000s and up. Just like kind of like Jurassic Park did with their animations. It just captures something that the newer animation doesn't really, and the newer editing doesn't. It's just something a little bit different. So that's about it. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm gonna have a fun time editing this. Not really, because it's gonna take like 3 hours or more to do, but we did like 6 movies. Probably have like 2 hours of footage that I have to edit. So yeah, thank you for watching this. If you liked what you saw and then you want me to do some more, feel free to comment what movie you want me to do and what scene. If you have a scene, please have a scene. I don't want to... I already went through the movies, so if you have a scene that I missed and the movies I already went over, or if you have a like a effect, not like a practical effect. Like, I did go over some of the practical stuff in this one, but they were mixed in with some effects. Except with the Destroyer arms, that was mostly practical. But that was only one scene. So if you have a scene and a movie that you want me to go over, then feel free to do that. Oh wait, I almost forgot, sorry. I forgot. I have to get it. Can't believe I almost forgot that. It is a quick one. I'll explain it real quick. Basically, it's all animation. It's not really hard to explain how they did it, because I don't know how they did it. I just say it's animation. But you guys asked me to get the... One of you guys asked me to do the Mecha Godzilla scene, so I'll show that real quick. Okay, so here we are at Mecha Godzilla. This scene right here is also really good. Like, really, really good. This is like... And I think the Mogira one is better, but this one is also really good. It's... Like, right here, there people are edited in. I'm not here to go over all the stuff in Mecha Godzilla, but the people are edited in the background in the other one, and here they're edited in the front. Let me go to the scene that I was wanting to talk about. Here it is. Someone wanted me to talk about this one. So talk I am going to do about it. So right there, what they did was they took the symbol for the Godzilla force, G-force or whatever it is, and then they transitioned it into one of the ball joints of Mecha Godzilla. So this is a 3D animation. As you can see, they put it together like that. It's not actually that hard to show. It is a little more difficult when you have it is kind of difficult because you don't want it to go through the model you have, the 3D model, because they're not solid objects. They don't have it's not like it's real, like you put like a piece of wood against another piece of wood, it's gonna hit, so you don't have to worry about them going through each other. It's like taking two invisible blocks of pieces of wood, and then like they're not invisible to the eye, but they can go through each other. So this is kind of like what that is. The 3D model for this is really good, especially the stuff right there. There's not really much to observe. It's a 90s animation. I wouldn't say it's as good as Jurassic Park or even close, but it's pretty decent for like a... It's not supposed to be like anything like special. It's supposed to be like a showing what he actually is. And I think they succeeded in doing that. So that's about it for today and this video. Thank you for watching this. If, like I said, if you have any suggestions that you want to give, if you have a movie that you want to recommend that I do, and a scene, please just don't say Godzilla, blah blah blah. Just write the movie. I have Millennium and Heisei Godzilla films. I don't have any other ones really that I want to do. I don't have the Showa Godzilla films on DVD, which is what I would look at it on. So if you want any of the Heisei or Millennium films, pick a scene, or if you can't really think of anything at the time, just write the movie. So thanks for watching, and see you later.